Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back. It's Mr.B, and today we are making super tiny chocolate chip cookies. And then we're going to put some ice cream in the middle and make tiny chocolate chip cookie ice cream sandwiches. Long name. Anyway, so for the ingredients you'll be needing, you will need a tablespoon of butter, 2 1/4 teaspoons of brown sugar, 3/4 teaspoon of white sugar, a tiny amount of vanilla. I have some little spoons that are for measuring tiny amounts, like dash, smidgen, and pinch, which I will be using a dash of vanilla. Then of flour, you will need a tablespoon and 1 1/2 teaspoons of flour, a pinch of salt, dash of baking soda, 3/4 teaspoon of water, and 2 tablespoons of oats, and then a tablespoon and 1 1/2 teaspoons of chocolate chips. So that's all the ingredients that you'll be needing for this tutorial, and without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so before we get started, I just want to let you know really quick that if you saw this tiny bowl, I will be mixing a small amount of everything in there, but this is the bowl where I'm going to mix most of the dough because if I wanted to mix it in that small bowl, it would take like a 1/20th of the recipe, which would be a lot harder to do everything, measure everything out. So, yeah, I have the closest I could get with a 1/16th of the original recipe, I believe. Yeah, 1/16th. And yeah, without further ado, let's start baking. So the first thing it wants you to do is beat together your butter and your sugars and vanilla. So my vanilla, I'm getting a little dash of. This is going to be really hard. Oh, never mind. That was a lot easier than I thought. Okay, a dash of that. And I'll clean that in a moment. A dash, and then of my sugars, I need 2 1/4 teaspoons of brown sugar. So I'm going to get my teaspoon, my brown sugar, and I'm going to lightly pack it in as best I can. Be careful about this. This part might get a bit messy, but just be careful. Don't make too much mess. You don't want to get anyone mad at you. And just get everything cleaned up well afterwards also. So get your 2 tablespoons, which I'm doing carefully. I want to get everything on camera for you, so you know I'm not lying about anything, not secretly making the whole recipe and then taking a tiny bit, so that you really know how much is actually going into this. And what happens, you can skip ahead as much as you need until you get to the more exciting parts. But this is just for anyone who wants a long video to watch on how to make this. So I have 2 teaspoons, and now I need a 1/4 teaspoon. I'm going to get that. Very carefully, like I said, and put that in. Now, the rest of it, if you have a package, you could probably put it back, but I'm going to put it on my plate for now until I decide what to do with it. And now I need to measure out my regular sugar, and that's 3/4 teaspoon of that. So I'm going to get 1/4 at a time. This will be a little harder than I thought. Trying to be as careful as I can with this step, even though I'm still making a good amount of mess. So 1, that's 2, that's 3. 3/4 of a teaspoon of white sugar. I'm going to quickly wash that off with my hands. And then I'm going to get a fork. Nice fork there. I wish I would have melted my butter, but I have to cream it until it's light and fluffy, is what the recipe says. Beat it all until light and fluffy. Okay, that's going to take a little bit. You know what? I'm going to melt the butter. I can't melt the butter or else it won't cream, as it turns out. Carefully melt the butter. Not melting it. I need to just mix it so it'll slowly soften it. I probably was supposed to soften the butter, wasn't I? Yep, it says soften. So I'm just going to use my fingers to press it a little so it's a little less hard and stiff. But since it's such a small amount, I'm not able to use like a mixer. And then I've been told that a whisk wouldn't cream it. So it'll just take me a while. I'm using a fork, but it'll take a while for it to happen. So I'm going to pause the video for you guys. For me, I'm going to keep working, and I'll be right back in just a minute. So I'm back. I've had it creamed, sort of, nice, light, and fluffy. If you follow the recipe that I'm making right now, and you multiply it by 16, you'll get a regular sized recipe. But of course I'm making a small recipe, and the background noise is because I'm boiling my water in the microwave. But it's pretty nice, light, and fluffy. Now the next direction says to add the flour and salt and then mix it well. So for that, I'm going to have my spoon, get everything off of my fork that I used for creaming it. Got everything off of my fork, just about. And now I'm going to be using my spoon. There went the boiled water, so that's just warm. Now I might need to do a little more in a second, but this is nice. And now I need to add my flour that I have 1 tablespoon and 1.5 teaspoons. So first I'm going to get my tablespoon, level that off, tablespoon, and 1.5 teaspoons. Okay. And 1/2. So now I'm going to mix that well. Oh wait, sorry, my salt too. Just a pinch of my salt. And it is. So, tiny pinch of that. Now I'm going to rinse out my dash really fast. That also has to be used in my baking soda in just a moment. So I'm going to mix what I already have in here. Mix it well, my salt, and then my butter, sugar, and vanilla mixture, and the two of them I'm mixing together. This step will take you a little while, but it's just until it's nice and well combined, as all the recipe says. For this part, just nicely mix. It should form sort of like a crumbly dough. That's exactly what you want. Don't really knead it too much. I'm just checking the texture. It's about nice. Do a little more stirring. If you've got an electric mixer and you've got a bigger amount, like I said, if you were to multiply this amount by 16, that would give you the amount you want. And for like a full recipe, and this is starting to form like your cookie dough. But now, on to the next recipe. Okay, so now what I need to do is I'm going to have to measure out my hot water into a separate container. Just a second. Get myself I'm going to have to take a small bowl where I'll measure out my 3/4 teaspoon of hot water. Very hot water. That's hot. Okay. So I'm going to measure out 3/4. And put a tiny bit more, just over 3/4 teaspoon of water in there. This is boiling, basically. And then my baking soda is just a tiny bit. I'm going to put a pinch of this instead of a dash because of the amount of water I have in there. Pinch of baking soda. And then it says to dissolve that. And then add that to the mixer. I'm going to mix that in nicely. This is when it will become a good dough and it will become smaller bits. Like more of a true dough, it'll become like a ball. But it's sort of liquidy, a little moist and a little sticky at this point. So at this point you need to add your oats, which it wants 2 tablespoons of. Wow, lots of that. So for that, I'm going to take a small cutting board and a good knife, and then my oats. Oh, these are nicely ground. These are very small pieces. I thought I'd need to cut them. I thought they'd be larger. Okay, 2 tablespoons. Wow, lots of that. That seems like a little too much. I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon to start with. and mix it as nice. Wow. This is very oatsy. So it's very oatsy. Many oats. Now I'm going to add a little more. Anytime I touch it, I'm just washing my hands, rinsing them off, because that's a little strong, a little sticky dough. Mix that in. I'm doing just under 2 tablespoons because it's not really mixing them in. They're not even combining very well at that many, so I put just a little tiny bit less, and it's perfect. This dough is beautiful, exactly how I'd like it. But now the cutting board is definitely needed with my good big knife to cut up my chocolate chips. I'm going to get these. Get stuff out of my way a little bit. Now bring in my cutting board and knife. Now one at a time, I'm going to cut these up. So I want 1 tablespoon first of these chocolate chips. I'm just getting nice small pieces because of course this is mini, so I don't want humongous chocolate chips. I want everything to scale. And for this you could make a tiny cookie cake if you had a little baking sheet, but I only have a big one, so I'm going to make little blob cookies. I'm going to need a few more than I thought I would. But just cut these up. Be careful with this because if you're a child, it's good to have either adult supervision or ask an adult to help you if you don't have much experience in the kitchen. But this will be probably what will take you the longest, is just cutting all of the chocolate chips up. It'll probably take a couple minutes, but just be careful with them. Don't rush yourself, because then you could cut yourself, and that's not good. Rush yourself, cut yourself. Not a good combination. Rushing and cutting. Anyway, so now I've got a good number of them here. Almost to a tablespoon. Just cut it all up. Okay. Almost there. Most of my chocolate chips are cut up. Also, sorry I haven't posted in a while. I was not able to. My camera was dead, and I also was having fun. It was holidays, so. But now I'm back, almost. I'll probably post at least once a week now until the next holiday. Probably sometime on the weekend, but right now, posting during the week. But next week I'll probably post on the weekend again, or mornings or afternoons, who knows. Might post more than one thing. But if you give me suggestions in the comments, I will, of course, get you a bunch more videos quicker if I know what you guys want to see, you know? If you want more cooking, any of that stuff. But I'm just mostly go by suggestions from friends, you guys, who knows. Whoever, if someone comments on a video with something they want to see, I'll be sure to try to make it. If you give me like stuff you want me to try to make, if you want me to remake pictures of slimes that you have so that you have an idea of how to make them, whatever you guys want to do. But really, I'm just almost done here. Here's my dough, chocolate chips. It says a bunch more than this, but the dough really wouldn't hold that at all. So this is all I'm able to get in it, is the 1 tablespoon. That's also all I have out right now, but it fits just fine and it's really perfectly good. Anyway, so once you have that, I'm going to go quickly wash my hands. Now, you're going to need a baking sheet and some parchment paper for this step. Pick yourself a good sized piece, fits around the middle of that. Now take small pieces, small little chunks of your dough, grab your cookie, your parchment baking paper, and put them 3 or 4 or 5 centimeters apart, sort of like that, just under an inch, not 4 or 5, like 1.5, something like that. I'm doing rows of 3, no columns. It's not, well, not really columns, more of like diagonal lines. So I can get a few more on there. I'm sure to get another one on there. 1 more row. About where I want to go for it. And then just getting my dough here. I'm actually filming not with my camera right now, but yeah, I'm almost there. As you can see, I'm on my last one. There. Now they're all on my sheet, ready to bake. I'm going to preheat my oven at baking setting to 350. for about, have it ready to go for like 15 minutes, even though you're definitely not going to use that much time, because you could get to where you need it if something goes wrong. So that's my cookies ready to go in, and then I have an even number, so I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ice cream sandwiches when this is done. So I'm going to put these in the oven, and then I'll be back when they're ready and everything will be cleaned up. See you in a moment. Hey guys, okay, so I'm back and my cookies are completely finished baking, and now it's time to assemble the chocolate chip cookie ice cream sandwiches. Long name, hard to remember. Anyway, so I have 2 cookies here and a little bit of ice cream. So I'm just going to put my ice cream right here in the middle of one of them. Get a little more. Perfect. Now if you have another small chocolate chip or something, you can take a knife and a cutting board and then cut that up. Cut a little bit off to make like chocolate sprinkles. Now, press them together. If you have your mini chocolate sprinkles, which I've just made, pretty easy here. Take them, make sort of a line with them, nice and thin, good and long too. And then just carefully and there you go. A nice little chocolate chip cookie ice cream sandwich. Now I'm going to taste it. Wow! These are actually really good. Cookies actually baked well, and with that little bit of ice cream, they're really good. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Leave your ideas for future videos in the comment section below. And if you got a cookie nearby, smash some ice cream in between it, smash the like button with it, and then take a bite. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.